The system by which we are governed today, be it the financial system, was set up in order to strip every single person of their wealth. We have to talk a little bit about what the title of this live stream is today and get ready for a barter economy, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you why. Really don't want to get doomy and gloomy, but let me tell you why real quick. I want to share something with you. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. You see this, what's happening there in Australia? I got this off of a news article. It says that the Aussie health chief says people who don't get that thing are going to be miserable and live lonely lives. They are building what is a two-class society. One of people that decided to do something and one of people that decided not to. All right? And I think that eventually they're going to try to do this everywhere. So what do we do? If we're with a preparedness mindset, right? We have a preparedness mindset. So we look at what may happen in the future and we try to prepare for that ahead of time. So if we know ahead of time that there is a possibility that not only one or two countries, but that many countries, to include the one that you live in, has plans of creating two different classes of people, giving one class of people privileges that others don't, that the other class won't have. Like maybe going to the supermarket, just like in Dominican Republic, that you can't even enter a bank or a supermarket unless you've done what they want you to do, and unless you have the paperwork that you have to show. It's not the only place it's happening in. It's not just Australia. Right? It's not only happening in Australia. Also in Ireland, I saw a clip in Ireland where they were asking the prime minister, they asked her something like, well, what you're saying is that now if you have it and you don't have it, there's going to be two classes of citizens where the ones that have it are going to have more privileges than the ones that don't.
That is what it is. So, yep.
And she laughingly said, yes, that's exactly what I mean. Like she said it with a smile on her face. So this is happening in other countries, all right? I'm sure it's probably going to continue to happen because, like I said, they want full control. They want to control everything about you, about what you do. And eventually they will have control about what you can and can't buy, because I believe, and I hope that I'm wrong, I believe that they're going to, have a huge financial collapse. I think that a huge financial collapse will take place. And that is what is going to bring in the digital currency that they want, the centrally banked digital currency. So what are you going to do once there's a centrally banked digital currency and then they've eliminated cash? Because what they're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is they're not going to say, okay, cash is illegal. They're not going to say that. But what's going to happen is that, let's say you have a business and you take cash. And then at the end of your business day, you want to take that cash and you want to bring it to the bank. The bank's going to say, oh, you're bringing in cash? We're going to have to charge you a fee. Or you're going to keep cash in your savings account? Or we're going to have to charge you a fee for that. Or you want to withdraw cash? We're going to have to charge you a fee. So little by little, people are going to get away from cash, and then cash is going to become obsolete. No one's going to use it. And then once they do that, they're going to have full control of what you can buy, where you can buy it. They're going to have full control of what you can spend your money on, where you can spend your money on, when you can spend your money. It'll be full control, ladies and gentlemen. So what do we have to prepare for? We have to prepare for a barter economy. And how does that work? Just like it works right now. I was reading an article about Argentina back, I think it was 2001 or something like, Argentina's had like 3 or 4 financial collapses like in the last 50 years or so. So I think it was around 2001 or so. I was reading an article where Argentinians actually created their own barter currency. So I'm just going to say flea market for a lack of better words, right? But what they would do is since their national currency was losing value so quickly, and their government had put restrictions on the use of dollars, which is what they were flooding to dollars at the time, that they really had nowhere to turn. So what they did is they had like a huge open air market where people could come in and trade, and they created their own currency. Let's call it coupons. But they created their own coupons that had value. Like value, just like dollar bills have, fiat value, like from 1 to 10, let's say. And then all they had to do was go in there with their merchandise and sell it, but they could only sell it for those coupons that they had created, that they themselves printed. And then you could take those coupons, if you sell something there, and buy something else within the same place. I've always said that the black market is the freest market in the world. And only because it has the name black market doesn't mean it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing, because a black market is a 100% voluntary thing. If you go on Craigslist and you ask someone to, and you want to buy something from someone that's selling on Craigslist, you're doing it voluntarily. You're not doing it because you have to. And then if you both decide on a price and you're both happy with what you're buying and what you're giving for it, then that, ladies and gentlemen, is the free market. So there will come a time, remember that I've told you that I believe that we are in a cycle, and the part of the cycle that we're at leads to oppression. So there will come a time where we are oppressed. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the good news, is that if we are prepared and we get all of those things that we know we're going to need en masse for a long time, right, then we can overcome this tyranny that's coming our way. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to come our way. What can we do about it? There's not too much we can do about it. I mean, what can we do about our government? And I'm talking about the U.S., but I'm sure that it resonates with other countries. What can you and I do about our government giving away billions and billions and billions of our taxpayer dollars every year to other countries? What can we do about that? What can we do about our government giving millions of dollars for people to study how fish interact when they're high on drugs? What can we do about that? There's not much we can do about that. They are going to pass their laws. They are going to pass their regulations. They are going to continue to torch the Constitution. And as far as I'm concerned, the Justice Department is complicit because they let them get away with it. Even though they know it's unconstitutional, they let them get away with it. So the system is rotten to the core. So what do? We prepare for what we see coming down the line. And guess what? If you prepare for a barter system and you buy an extra 50 toothbrushes because you think that will be a good barter, and a knight in shining armor comes over next month and he saves the entire world, you can still use those toothbrushes. So that's why I said prep those things that you use. Prep those things that you know you're going to use, even if not this year, next year, or the year after. If you're going to use them, then there's no reason why you shouldn't be prepping more than what you need. And have extra of those things on hand, because you may think that you have prepped everything you're going to need, but we can't think of everything. So if I have an extra 20 toothbrushes set aside and I forgot to get something, there may be someone else out there in my community that has that something I need, but needs a few toothbrushes. All right, and that was just an example, but it can work with anything. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we need to start thinking about not only being prepared for what we need for ourselves, but to be prepared on how we are going to interact within the community when the government decides that they're going to outcast us because we did not want to comply with their tyrannical regulations, mandates, whatever it is that you want to call it. All right, because eventually, ladies and gentlemen, those same people that are calling for a second class of citizens, those same people, pretty much those people that are yelling out at the top of their lungs that we should all be doing what they want us to do, they one day will find themselves in just as an oppressive situation than what they are advocating for us today. Now, let me say this before anyone gets upset. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm all for freedom. I am all for you doing what you want to do. I am not sitting here saying I am against that vitamin that they want you to take. I am not sitting here saying I am for that vitamin that they want you to take. What I am saying here, ladies and gentlemen, is this, is that I am 100% for you and everyone to have the freedom to decide for yourselves and for your families whether you want to take that vitamin or not. All right, ladies and gentlemen? But what we have to realize is this. What we have to realize is that we have someone, or we have an entity that wants to take over our lives. We have an entity that wants to, to cradle us from birth to death. They want to tell us everything that we can and can't do from the day we're born to the day we die. And that's not freedom. And that's not what this country was born on. This country was born on freedom. It was born on freedom and morals. Yes, talk all you want to talk about bad stuff that happened in the past of the United States of America. But show me one country that has a clean record. Show me one country that's perfect. There's no such thing. All we can do, ladies and gentlemen, is learn from the past. That is all we can do. Learn from our mistakes. And then hopefully we can make it better for the future for our children. And the problem is that humans don't like to learn. They don't like to take those lessons and pass them on from generation to generation. That is why, I forgot who it is that said this, but I think it was a president that said that every generation has to fight for their freedom. So we have to stay vigilant of what freedom is in order to know that we have to fight for it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we have to prepare for a future where they are going to crash the financial system, because that's the only thing they got going for them. And some people say, well, they may have a cyber attack or something like this. Well, the way I feel about that, ladies and gentlemen, is, and maybe there will be some kind of a cyber attack, but I feel that the end result will be that the financial system gets crashed, where they can have an excuse to say, well, what we're going to have to do now is start all over. We're going to have to start all over. And what we're going to do is we're going to clear all your debt. Everyone's debt will be cleared. But what people don't realize is that even if you have dollars in the bank, dollars are debt. So even if you have your life savings in the bank, that too will be cleared out. All right. So when they say we're going to clear out all your debt, it also means your savings, unless you have it in the form of this physical. All right. Where you can get to it. That's what that means. Now, someone asked a question. I think it was JT. She said, what are we going to do when we have a centrally banked digital currency? What are we going to do if we want to exchange our silver or our gold? Because they're going to know, well, ladies and gentlemen, the black market is a beautiful thing. And if you're wanting to exchange your silver and your gold for something that you need, you'll probably be able to do the same thing through the black market. There's nothing that the government can do to eliminate a black market. It has existed since the beginning of mankind. Whenever there's government around, there is a black market around, because there is some people that want to be free, that don't want to be paying taxes on everything for everything. Think about this. You know how I told you don't donate any more money to the Buy a Coffee for Charity account, all right? That's why I took the link off. But think about it this way. Let's say that you earned $1, all right? Let's say you earned $1, and on that dollar you paid taxes. Let's say that you paid 20% taxes on that dollar, all right? And then you send that dollar to the charity link that I had set up before. And then I take that dollar out. And then on that dollar that I take out, I have to pay taxes on that. Even though I'm going to give it to charity, I still have to pay taxes on that. It's already been taxed twice. And then let's say you take that dollar and you just donate it, just like you donate it in the form of cash to a charity. And then they take that dollar, put it in their bank account, and then they take some of that money to pay their employees that work there. Now that employee got paid with that dollar after it's already been taxed twice, and now that employee is going to pay taxes on that dollar again. Ladies and gentlemen, this system was set up to make you and keep you poor. The system by which we are governed today, be it the financial system, was set up in order to strip every single person of their wealth, in order to steal away from you your labor. Once people understand that, they'll understand that there is so much debt in the system right now that there's not too much more of your labor they can steal because the dollar has lost so much value. So this system does have to get reset. And they will reset it, but they will do it on their terms. And unfortunately, every time that these institutions do these resets on their terms, just like in 1971, there was a reset where we went from the dollar being backed by gold, or at least partially by gold, to nothing, to just a pure fiat currency. Who paid the price? It wasn't government. It was the people through not hyperinflation, but I would say superinflation. And what's happening right now? I would say that we're going through superinflation, meaning that we're inflating at more than 10% a year. And that's putting it lightly. That's being conservative. So ladies and gentlemen, when they eventually do pull the plug and they eventually put in place another financial system that I'm sure they already have in the background, it is you and I, ladies and gentlemen, it is the average citizen that will pay the price. It is the mom and pop shops that will pay the price. It is not the people in government. Trust me, they're still going to have their health care. They're still going to have their security guards. They're still going to have their $300 million houses by the beach. They're still going to have all those things. It is the average person that's going to pay the price. So prepare now, ladies and gentlemen. This time that we have is a gift. The time that we still have is a gift. And that you are listening to this message is a gift, because it allows you the opportunity to, one, do your own research. And then hopefully you become convinced after you've done your own research that you need to get prepared, not only for you, but for you and your family. And not only but for you and your family, for your country as well. Because the more prepared that a country's citizenry is, the better off that country is as a whole. And we do still have to think about preserving our nation. That's very important to me, that we come out of this as a whole nation and not split up. Having said that, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to every one of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper, and I'm out. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go ahead and put the outro for those that are new, and you all have a great weekend. God bless.